This book right here literally changed my life. Now, for me to talk about a book on my channel, that has to be a very, very powerful book, because I've only talked about 2 in the history of my YouTube channel. But I think this book right here, the teachings are so important that I wanted to dedicate a video to just make a full guide for you. Because if you can master these agreements and you can really ingrain those into your head, you are going to have a lot more success in life, be happier, and just be able to kill whatever you want, whether that's business or a relationship or whatever. So this book, The 4 Agreements, I've read it about 10 times now. I literally have it on my nightstand every single day to look through, because I know that these teachings are just going to help me stay grounded in life and just really be as successful as I can on my purpose with my business and all that stuff. So let's break it down. The 4 agreements are as follows. Be impeccable with your word. Never make assumptions. Never take anything personal, and always do your best. So let's go individually and break them down. So the first one, be impeccable with your word. That essentially means, what is the story you tell yourself? What is the story you tell yourself? Because everyone tells herself a story. And if you've never done this, I encourage you, take a piece of paper, take some time to literally write the story, who you are as a person and what you are working towards. Because you need to have a story, you need to have a blueprint before you build a house. And for a lot of people, you don't have a story, so you let other people tell you your story and you believe those things. Whenever we hear an opinion and believe it, we make an agreement and it becomes part of our belief system. So whenever someone says something, you're ugly, you're never gonna be good enough, you don't have the ability to make money or whatever, be in a good relationship, you're gonna believe that because that's the agreement you tell yourself, and you're always gonna be looking and seeing I'm not good enough, these reasons are this and that, and I don't think I can. It's very important. Let me tell a story in this book to kind of make that make sense. There was a woman, for example, who was intelligent and had a very good heart. She had a daughter whom she adored and loved very much. One night she came home from a very bad day at work, tired, full of emotional tension, and with a terrible headache. She wanted peace and quiet, but her daughter was singing and jumping happily. The daughter was unaware of how her mother was feeling. She was in her own world, in her own dream. She felt so wonderful, and she was jumping and singing louder and louder, expressing her joy and her love. She was singing so loud that it made her mother's headache even worse, and at a certain moment, her mother lost control. Angrily, she looked at her beautiful daughter and said, "Shut up, you have an ugly voice." The truth is that the mother's tolerance for any noise was non-existent. It was not that the little girl's voice was ugly, but the daughter believed what her mother said, and in that moment, she made an agreement with herself. After that moment, she no longer sang. She believed her voice was ugly and would bother anyone at school if they heard it. She became shy at school, and even if she asked to sing, she refused. Even speaking to others became difficult for her. Everything changed in that little girl because of this new agreement. She believed she must repress her emotions in order to feel love. And so again, whenever we hear an opinion and believe it, we make an agreement and it becomes part of our belief system. This kind of leads to something very important in this world, that you really got to control what you listen to and who you listen to, because you hear environment is everything, but that is so true. Because if you got a good group of people around you pushing you, motivating you, telling you what you're doing good, what you need to work on, you're going to be a lot better with everything you're doing. But if you got negativity surrounding you, that's going to feed on everything you do, and you're probably going to eat a lot of that. And it's about drowning out the noise and just staying true, because if you know what your story is, that's why I said you got to write it out, because if you know your story, you know the things you need to do, you know the decisions you need to make. And so if you know your story, you can align yourself to that and be congruent to it, but you got to know your story first. The second agreement is, don't take anything personally. In fact, never take anything personally, because almost everything in this world that people project is a reflection of themselves. It's like a mirror. So when people are spreading positivity, they're probably a happy person. But if that person is speaking negatively, telling you hey, what was that, bro? What are you thinking? You only get 100 views on your YouTube video. Why are you doing this? It's always a reflection of themselves, so don't take that personally. The important thing with this is to know that it does not affect you, because you know who you are. You know your story. You don't have the need to be accepted. You don't have to have someone tell you this, because you know who you are deep down, and that's what's important. I talked about this last video, you spend the most time in your entire life with yourself. It's that person's respect that you need to have. Because if you don't have your self-respect, you're not going to have anyone's. But if you do have your self-respect, you're literally going to be unstoppable in this world, because most people don't even have that. They're always thinking of reasons they're not good enough. If you look at yourself, that's why I think going to the gym is so important, because if you can look at yourself and be proud of your physique, you didn't do that, your younger self did. And so you can be proud of yourself, you can be confident in what you do, because you've literally transformed your body. For me, I was a 110-pound stick, and now I weigh almost 200 pounds. That took time, but that was just me staying true with the vision the whole time. And now I can be proud and confident because I know myself. And I know to never take anything personally. People could literally tell me, Alex, you fucking suck. You aren't going to be anything. Like people just tell me that, and that just goes in one ear and out the other. Because I know who I am, so you got to know yourself. And two things that are really important with this agreement is, number one, even the opinions you have about yourself are not necessarily true. So take you wake up and you're not feeling good and you have a big day ahead and you hear that voice in your head. That is not you. And you might think that is you, but that is a voice in your head feeding on the environment and whatever situation you are in right now. And so it's about differentiating that. Is that really me? And if you do hear a voice, what you can do is ask yourself, what is the facts of this? Is there any sort of social proof? Because if there's not, just eliminate that thought altogether, because why would you feed on something that's not true? If I'm not feeling confident, I think, why am I not confident? Maybe the reason I'm unconfident is because I'm not prepared for this video, for an event in life. So I'll practice it and that'll eliminate it. Because not having confidence, being anxious, I feel like that's just not being prepared for that thing. And the second thing you want to really realize with this agreement is that people lie to themselves all the time in almost every single thing they do. Let's think of a scenario for this. People, something so small, say right when they're going to wake up, they're going to do their work. Now when they wake up, they see a new notification from TikTok and they start scrolling. Even that is a lie to yourself. That is an agreement that you just broke with yourself, and you're not going to be as confident doing great stuff in life, because you just broke that. It's not about the huge ones, it's about the little ones every single day that stack up over time. Because it's sad, but if I were to ask you, would you trust a lie? You'd say no, Alex. But then I said, would you trust a person who breaks promises? You'd also say no. So how are you be able to trust someone? How are you able to trust yourself if you don't even keep promises with yourself? How can you trust yourself if you don't even keep promises with yourself? If you don't even do what you said you were going to do? That's just a recipe for disaster, to not be confident, to be insecure in this world, because it starts with yourself. Because how you are with yourself is how you project into the world. So I know that I'm a happy person on my own, and that's why I'm a happy person in this world. But it has to start with you first. The third agreement is to never make assumptions. And I feel like in this world, this one is paramount, because in our world, our digital age, when people, let's just say a relationship, for example, if you and your girl are in a relationship and another person's not responding, for some reason we decide to go 0 to 100 real quick, they're doing something bad, they're cheating on us. For most people in this world, which is really messed up, I want you to realize this, that when we make assumptions, we are literally just asking for problems. Never does an assumption make something better. And so it's always better to ask questions and clarify if you are confused. And if you are in a relationship, that's probably going to be better. That's probably what your partner is going to prefer. If you ask a question hey, that shows you care, that shows you're a genuine person, and you're not making assumptions that they're doing something when they're not. But not only does this apply to relationships, this also really applies to life. And I think the big thing right here with never making assumptions is not rejecting yourself. Never make an assumption when you're in public, when you're at the gym, whatever, because a lot of times when we're doing stuff, even if that's going up to a girl or something, we've already rejected ourselves before the world even has had a chance. If you reject yourself before the world even has a chance to reject you or even accept you, what? How does that even make sense, bro? You gotta have confidence in yourself. You gotta believe in yourself before you even go into this world. Because if you can't even believe in yourself, tell me one reason why the world should believe in you too. In a business idea, in a transformation, in whatever. It all starts within you first. And the fourth agreement is really something that I look at on a daily basis, because, it can be upsetting in this world to not see things go your way. And, as much as we wish they would, most of the times, let's be honest, things aren't going to go our way. But knowing you did your best is important, because if you know you did your best with whatever it may be, you can't really be upset. You can't really be mad if you've done your best. Because let's just say you wanted the job interview. You prepared yourself for weeks for that job, and you practiced how you were going to introduce yourself, and you practiced what you were going to say, the email you were going to send after, and you get on the call and you felt really good prepared, and it just doesn't go your way. Now you can be upset this didn't go my way, I'm going to be depressed now. But if you think you did your best, like, what more could you have asked? What more could you have wanted out of yourself? Now, you could have done another hour or two, but like, if you genuinely felt prepared and good about it, like, that's really it. For me, that's one thing I've realized with school, because, you know, as a junior, like, I'm finishing strong, but I really, like, don't have much motivation right now. But I'm still taking the time to study for tests, prepare myself to the best of my ability. And so, if a test goes great, awesome, I prepare myself. But if it doesn't go good, like, yes, maybe I didn't know the material as much, but I literally practiced my best. And so I can't be upset. And that goes for the entire world, because most times things aren't going to work out the way you envision them. But I promise you, for me at least, every single negative situation that I thought was horrible, if you expand the time horizon long enough, you know, it's turned into something that I'm really actually thankful for. And I know that that thing made me into the person I am today. So I'm actually just happy that it happened perfectly as it did. And so always do your best. And if you can do those 4 things, to be impeccable with your word, to never take anything personal, to never make an assumption, and to always do your best, I promise you, brother, you're going to be a lot more unstoppable in life. And whenever I feel myself kind of fading, whenever I feel myself deviating from the center, when my focus is kind of just getting worse, I think of those things. I'm like, okay, let's apply this to the situation right now, and let's do it. And it's so interesting, because those 4 agreements literally always, like, every situation in life is kind of applicable with one of those agreements. So for I would literally say, like, I encourage you to, like, write it down, because for me, bro, I literally have that on my desk right here. Right here. And I think it's important to, like, put it somewhere where you can always see it, because now you can watch this video once and you might get it, or at least some of you might get it, but humans are about repetitions. And so if you got it in a place where you're always looking and you kind of see yourself, you know, fading from the point or whatever, like, that's where it comes in. So I really encourage you, write those out, get this book. I'll try to provide a free ebook in the comment section. It's actually a really quick read. It's like 100 pages, pretty big text, so it's not a crazy difficult read. But not everything in life that, you know, not everything in life needs to be overcomplicated. This guy right here, Miguel Ruiz, he just gets straight to the point. He talks about them, and he gives situations so you can really envision that. And I try to do that with this video, but the best thing is going to be always to read the book. Find the quiet place. You can probably bang this out in 2-3 hours. Even you might not even need that. But I promise you, this book has really powerful stuff that'll really help you in your life. So, yeah. Keep going, head up, keep pushing, and always do your best.